Welcome to Storytime, where every word is a gentle step toward a peaceful night. Tonight's story, The Winter Hearth, is a tale of warmth, quiet moments, and the magic of winter evenings. So snuggle in, breathe deeply, and let this story guide you to a place of stillness and sleep. It was the kind of winter evening that seemed to wrap the world in a blanket of quiet. The snow had been falling softly all day, covering the countryside in a pristine layer of white. The trees stood tall and bare, their branches etched against the pale gray sky, while the frozen river glimmered faintly in the fading light. Somewhere in this serene landscape, nestled between a thick forest of pines and a gently sloping hill, stood a small, weathered cabin. The cabin was a refuge from the cold and chaos of the outside world. Its walls, built from sturdy logs, carried the scent of pine and cedar, mingling with the faint aroma of the wood-burning stove that crackled softly inside. The roof was blanketed in snow, and icicles hung like delicate ornaments from its eaves. A narrow path led to its door, carved through the snow by careful footsteps, and a faint plume of smoke curled upward from the chimney, disappearing into the stillness of the evening sky. Inside the cabin, the air was warm and filled with the comforting hum of quiet life. A thick woolen rug covered the wooden floor, its edges worn from years of use. A small round table sat by the window, where a candle burned, its soft glow flickering against the frosted glass. On the mantel above the hearth, sprigs of evergreen and dry orange slices rested alongside a collection of old books and trinkets, tokens of winters long past. The heart of the cabin was the hearth, a stone fireplace that radiated heat and light into the room. The fire within danced lazily, casting golden hues on the walls and ceiling, creating shifting patterns that seemed almost alive. It was here, by the fire, that Eleanor sat, wrapped in a thick, knitted shawl. Her hands cradled a mug of spiced tea, the warmth of it seeping into her fingers as she watched the flames. Eleanor had lived in the cabin for years, ever since she had chosen to leave the busyness of the town behind. She had come here seeking solitude, but over time, she had found more than just quiet, she had found peace. The winters, in particular, had become her favorite. There was something about the stillness of the snow, the way it muted every sound, that made the world feel safe and timeless. Tonight was no different. Outside, the snow continued to fall, each flake catching the faint glow of the moon that was beginning to rise. Inside, the warmth of the hearth seemed to pulse gently, as if the cabin itself were alive, breathing in rhythm with the winter night. As Eleanor sipped her tea, her mind drifted, as it often did on nights like this. She thought of the travelers who had visited her cabin over the years, seeking shelter from the storms. There had been the young couple whose car had broken down in the middle of a blizzard, their cheeks red from the cold as they knocked on her door. There had been the elderly man, a wandering storyteller, who had shared tales from lands far away as they sat by the fire. Each guest had left behind a memory, a moment of connection that lingered in the walls of the cabin. But tonight, Eleanor was alone, and she found comfort in the silence. She placed her empty mug on the table and leaned back in her chair, pulling the shawl tighter around her shoulders. Her eyes wandered to the window, where the snow fell steadily, and then back to the fire, its warmth wrapping around her like an embrace. The hours passed slowly, marked only by the soft crackle of the fire and the occasional whisper of wind against the windows. Eleanor's thoughts grew quieter, her breathing slower, until she felt herself sinking into a peaceful stillness. It was as if the cabin, the hearth, and the winter night had conspired to lull her into a state of complete calm. She closed her eyes, letting the warmth of the fire and the soft hum of the night carry her. The world outside faded away, replaced by a gentle dreamscape where the snow sparkled like stardust and the air was filled with the sound of a distant, melodic wind. In her dream, the cabin was the same but brighter, its walls glowing with a golden light. The hearth was larger, its flames dancing higher, and the room was filled with the scent of pine and citrus. She could hear faint laughter, as if the voices of those who had once stayed there were now lingering in the air, a tapestry of warmth and joy woven into the fabric of the cabin. Eleanor didn't know how long she dreamed, but when she opened her eyes, the fire had burned low, its embers glowing softly in the darkness. The room was quiet, save for the faint ticking of a clock on the mantel. She felt a deep sense of contentment, a reassurance that she was exactly where she was meant to be. Before she drifted back into sleep, she rose from her chair and added another log to the fire. The flames sprang to life again, casting their gentle glow across the room. She stood there for a moment, watching the fire, before returning to her chair and pulling the shawl around her once more. The night stretched on, the snow continued to fall, and the cabin remained a haven of warmth and peace. Outside, the world was vast and cold, but inside, the hearth burned steady, a symbol of safety and comfort. And as Eleanor slept, the cabin seemed to hum softly, as if cradling her in its quiet sanctuary. Thank you for listening to tonight's story, The Winter Hearth, here on Storytime. We hope it brought you a sense of calm and warmth, guiding you toward the restful sleep you deserve. Until next time, may your nights be as peaceful as a glowing hearth on a winter evening. Sweet dreams.
For your time, please subscribe. Don't forget to press the bell icon for more.